This time the Chair recognizes Mr. Cole Upton, Vice President of the Preserve Our Heritage, as well as a local Valley farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee members, I do represent Preserve Our Heritage. It's a group of citizens, farmers, about 200 to 300 of us in Merced and Madera counties that have concerns about this project. We first received word that our land was impacted in November 2009 with a letter from the authority. What we did, we went to the next authority board meeting and expressed our concerns that the route was not following the guidelines of minimizing impact to ag land and using existing corridors. The chairman at that time was Mr. Pringle. He urged us to roll up our sleeves and participate in the process. We thought that was a good idea, so we've done that for 2 years. In March of 2010, the route that we were complaining about, A3, was taken off the table. I then got on some technical committees as an elected official, 2 water districts. Prior to that, I was just city and county officials, but we got some rural members on there. In June of 2010, I made the question, do you support any Y north of the Chowchilla? That's the Y section. Unanimous opposition by every public agency. Yet, in July of 2010, the High-Speed Authority comes out with a route called the West Chowchilla Design Option. Yes, you guessed it, north of Chowchilla. So I asked the question, why would you choose something that was unanimously opposed by everybody if this input process has integrity? Well, the city of Chowchilla wanted it. Well, the city of Chowchilla immediately said, no, it wasn't us. We don't want it, and they're still actively opposed today. So then they said FRA wanted it. So we did a Freedom of Information request to the FRA December 3rd of 2010. Despite the best efforts of Mr. Denham and Mr. Cardoza, we have received nothing from the FRA. So Mr. Zabel brought it with him today. We still don't have any answer as to why FRA would demand this particular route, which is the most abominable one possible. It does not follow an existing corridor. Not even the local wildlife use it as a corridor. The impact to farmland, the problem is when it goes through, it impacts facilities that we've had in place for decades. And Mrs. Napolitano is aware of this because she's helped us with the water district facilities and that kind of thing. It takes out an entire canal in my district, the pumps, the deep wells, the transfer facilities, and it's taken decades for this to develop. We're some of the most water-efficient farmers in the world, but this is going to hurt us. If you're going to do this project, it ought to be integrated in with the infrastructure that exists now. And in order to do that, we have to work together. Now, these construction workers, there's a lot of them at the meetings we go to. When we talk to them, they don't tell you, we want a job, but it only can be high-speed rail. They just want a job. And there's plenty that can be done in the Central Valley. One, we can build Temperance Flat, costing about $3 billion, which would give us much better water supply and ensure that we could supply food and fiber for the people of the United States. We're one of the only 5 Mediterranean growing regions in the world. Now, one place that it did create jobs was in the EIRs. When the draft EIRs, as Mr. Gasta pointed out, came out, we had to hire EIR specialists and lawyers in order to get through it. I personally went through the one through my area as we divided it up with Preserve Our Heritage. The problem was the roads were misidentified, the counties were misidentified, and the rivers were wrong. In order to comment on it, I had to rewrite it. So we are going to challenge that EIR. And in so doing, we want to make it clear that we support Kings County, because Kings County is first up on this thing. And we know if they get thrown under the train, we're next. So it's important that they start treating ag right and they start going by the guidelines that are in place. We want to support our legacy and our heritage. My father started my farm when he got back from World War II. He started with 100 acres. He spent 3 years in Europe, and I live on my farm, my son lives on my farm, and my brother lives on my farm. Well, it's not something that we're going to give up easily. So I think Kings County's in the same position. I assume you brought me here for my opinion. If the opinion is of a taxpayer where to spend the money, you got to do like Willie Sutton said. He robbed banks because that's where the money was. For goodness sakes, put this high-speed rail where the people are. If it's a northeastern corridor, if it's Anaheim to San Diego, if you insist on doing it in the San Joaquin Valley like the FRA apparently wants, then do it on the west side. They don't have any water over there anyway. There's not a lot of impacts, and it'd be a straight shot from San Francisco to L.A. But if you insist on doing it in the central part, on the east side of the San Joaquin Valley, I'm reminded of a story back in the last century of an old farmer that took his mule to town every day. And a salesman approached him and said he could really improve on that situation and convinced the farmer to buy some roller skates for the mule. Okay, the mule, yes, he could get to town a lot faster, but it wreaked havoc all along the way. That's like this high-speed rail. Okay, if they don't do it right, they're going to wreak havoc all along the way. So we're looking for you folks to help us with that, to do it. If it's done right, let's do it and do not impact the farmland. Thank you.